Ali G's idiolect. Let's watch the video first.
Yo, so diggity check yourself before you wreck yourself, because I is here with 4 people who has all thought about something called religion. How powerful is God?
I think there is a power. I think most people at one point or another experience that power. They draw upon something that seems larger than themselves.
Can God do better stuff than David Blaine's?
You're asking God to make square circles, which are impossible. God can't do impossible things. That's not a limitation on God.
There have always been magicians, and there always will be, and some of them claim to be really producing magic.
So ain't God just like an overhyped David Blaine's?
No, and a lot of people would find that suggestion very offensive.
Yo, sorry. If God has got all these amazing powers, why don't he flex it every day? Like if you has got it flaunted. I mean, mate Dave, he's got a 9-incher. He gets it out all the time. God should be showing his powers. Well, let's talk about this man, the main man, the MacDaddy of the Christian thing. What was his name again?
Jesus Christ.
Why did Jesus go around with all them reindeers?
I'm not sure I've seen the same image as you've seen. I think you're confusing him with Santa Claus.
So does Jesus really exist, or is it just your father
Yes.
dressed up?
Yes, Jesus exists as the second person of what we believe to be the triune God.
Is it true that he was born in a stable?
It's possible he was born in those kind of simple circumstances. No room in the inn, that sort
There
of
was
thing.
no room in the...
Yeah.
Well, that's because it was Christmas, isn't it? Let's talk about marriage. Would you ever marry a Jewish girl?
I've chosen not to marry. I've chosen
What, just to
a
play around?
celibate life.
So how many months has you been celibate?
52 years next
So you
summer.
ain't done it for 50?
That's right. That's right. And I can tell you, there's more to life than sex.
Would you, as a gesture of bringing us together, marry her?
There are other ways of bringing us together than marriage.
What if she was a bit fitter? Would you consider marrying her then?
I am considering marriage not at all.
But people out there, they see people who's meant to be religious behaving in an unreligious way. Ain't it hypocritical that so many nuns also work part-time as strippers?
Well, I don't think you can demonstrate that statistically.
Yo,
That's
what-
an absurd statement that you just made.
No, it ain't. I has been at my mate Ricky C's 21st, and there was this nun that came in, and
Oh, this one.
10
So-
minutes later, she had her bubble-ons out with
So
whipping
you just
shaving
said
cream
you
off
just,
his
but you
body.
just said so many nuns.
And I recommend that you can watch the whole video by actually clicking or copying this link, and it's on YouTube. Hello everyone, I hope that you enjoyed the video that I have attached in the first slide of my presentation, and as you've already seen, it's about Ali G, the very famous character that hit through in the year of 2000 when I was very young, and I find this character hilariously funny because it represents the typical stereotypical Afro London suburban young man that speaks and behaves in a different way in order to represent his background and his community. And I will discuss this character and his language or his idiolect through 3 levels. The first level is idiolect, and the second level identity, and the third level is status. To begin with, in the second slide, I'm going into the idiolectic features of Ali G's speech, and I would begin to define what idiolect is according to Wardo and Fuller, which is the book of our course literature. And it is described as an individual's way of speaking, including sounds, words, grammar, and style, where they try to characterize some aspects of their own speech. And I have put a picture where Alice says "in it," which means "isn't it?" And the second sentence is "Ali G in the house," which is supposed to be "Ali G in the house." Me ain't like talking to them. I do not like to talk to them. Them think your missus is fit, bruv, yow. They think that your girlfriend is good looking, brother. And this sentence ends with a kind of cool sound that young people use when they speak the slang accent. And as we see, there is a kind of merge of non-prescriptive grammar, pronunciation, and sounds. And in this way, people can create their own sociolect or idiolect by diverging from the standard English in order to create their own sociolect or idiolect that distinct their own personality or their own identity within a community. Ali G, as a satirical character, as a London suburban Afro-Caribbean young man who actually breaks all the rules and becomes a high-profile TV interviewer that interviews and hosts high-profile personalities to discuss religion, science, and even art with them. However, he doesn't leave his accent behind, and in fact he uses it in the most hilarious ways through his interviews. And as we see that he actually uses a below standard English with a below intelligent questions. And in this way, and because Ali G doesn't defy the portrayal of a stereotypical suburban man who uses slangs, it makes it extremely funny, and it makes it also interesting because as we have already acquainted ourselves with the definition that Wardo and Fuller provide in the course literature, that speakers of other varieties are often viewed as having less status than the speakers of standard English, who are often associated with higher education. Finally, I would like to wrap up my presentation with a few critical thoughts around varieties and idiolects. And Wardo and Fuller identified H and L. H is the language that is the standard language that is used in articles, newspapers, in the media, and in literature. And it is imposed also on children in schools. And L is the dialectical or other varieties that stem from H, and they also are used at home and in non-formal or informal context. And Wardo claims also that the elite are the ones who actually dominate the school system by imposing their own language as a standard language, and upon which they erase many other varieties. and hence we come close to diglossia. Diglossia means also what Wardo means by the elite, where school children go to school and they have to cancel all their regional or social varieties in order to conform to a teaching that is carried out in standard English. However, Wardo means that we have to also break this cycle and encourage children to use their language or their varieties as acceptable and complete instead of corrupt or bad or unacceptable, and that this will add empowerment of their identity and solidarity amongst different groups in society. Thank you very much. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation. Please do forward your comments on my presentation. Thanks a lot.